In our last lesson under the plural noun formation series, we learned that for Twi nouns whose initial consonants are b, p, and f, we form their plurals by attaching the letter to their front. If you missed that and you're on learnakan.com, you can just go back to the previous grammar lesson, and if you're on YouTube, I'll leave a link to that up here. So how about all the other nouns? So if you come across a Twi noun whose initial consonant is neither b, p, nor f, how do you form its plural? And that is what we are looking at in today's lesson. And just like the previous one, it's very simple, very simple to do. So instead of attaching the letter to the front of Twi nouns that begin with b, p, f, for the other Twi nouns whose initial consonants are neither b, p, nor f, you form their plurals by attaching the letter as in n in front. Okay, so in the previous lesson we learned that if you come across a Twi noun whose initial consonant is either b, p, or f, you attach to the front to form its plural, right? So if you come across a Twi noun whose initial consonant is neither of these four letters, b, p, f, you attach as in n to its front to form its plural form. It's that simple. Before we get into some examples, take note of the following. Number one, just like we mentioned in the previous lesson, it is the first consonant that is considered, not the vowel. So I mentioned that there are a lot of nouns that start with vowels. And when you come across such nouns, you need to skip the initial vowel and consider the first consonant. If that first consonant is neither b, p, nor f, then you attach the letter as in n to the front to form its plural. All right, so that is the first point to note. The second one has to do with assimilation, and we mentioned this again in the previous lesson. We said in Twi, typically when you have b and what comes right before that is usually the will assimilate the b. So the will cause the b to change into as well to allow for easier pronunciation. All right, and we have something similar in this category. So just like the b sequence in Twi, if you have d as in d and what comes directly before that is as in n, usually the would assimilate the d. So the will cause the d to change into as well to allow for easier pronunciation. So for the examples that we are going to be looking at, the ones that have their initial consonants being d, after we attach the in front to form the plural, the will go on to assimilate the d into as well. So in their plural states, instead of starting with d, we'll end up starting with all right. Again, let's start with an example like that. So for our first example, we have dadwa, and dadwa is a nail, so the tool what you hit a hammer on. All right, so we have dadwa as a nail, and as you can see, this starts with d, which is neither b, p, nor f. So to form its plural, we simply bring in front, and we are supposed to have dadwa, but assimilation sets in because we have d, right? So the will cause the d to change into as well. So the plural of dadwa becomes nadwa. To the second example, we have dadie, and dadie is a metal, all right? And again, this starts with d, which is neither b, p, nor f. All right, so to form its plural, you simply bring in front, and you are supposed to have dadie, but the will cause the d to change into as well. So we end up with nadie as metals. All right, nadie, nadie. Let's see another example. We have akoko, akoko, and akoko is chicken. All right, and as you can see, this starts with a vowel, but we said we don't consider the initial vowel, we consider the initial consonant, and that consonant here is k, which is neither b, p, nor f. So you bring in front and we get nkoko, nkoko, nkoko. All right, to another example, we have takra, takra, and takra is a feather. All right, takra, and this starts with t, which is neither b, p, nor f. So to form its plural, you simply bring in front and we have ntakra, ntakra, ntakra. Another one, we have akonya, 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 and akonya is a chair. All right, again, this starts with a vowel, so you disregard that and move to the first consonant, which is k. All right, so to form its plural, this is neither b, p, nor f. So you simply bring in front as in n, and we have nkonya, nkonya, nkonya. We have kramai, kramai, and kramai is a dog. The full word is actually okramai, but again, we don't consider the first vowel. It is the initial consonant that we consider, and here that is k, right? So to form its plural, this k is neither b, p, nor f. So you simply bring in front and we have nkramai as dogs. Okay, nkramai, nkramai. Let's see another one. We have ahoma, ahoma, and ahoma is a rope. Again, this starts with the vowel a, but we skip that and consider the first consonant, which is h here, right? So to form its plural, this h is neither b, p, nor f. So you simply bring in front, we get nhoma, nhoma, nhoma. Okay, let's see another one. We have edro, edro, and edro is medicine. All right, again, this starts with a vowel a, but you skip that and consider the first consonant, which is d here, and this is neither b, p, nor f. So to form its plural, you bring in front, and we are supposed to have ndru, ndru, but assimilation sets in because we have d. So the will cause the d to change into as well. We end up with nru, nru, nru. Now, when we define this category as involving all the other Twi nouns that do not begin with b, p, nor f, that includes all Twi nouns that begin with the digraphs. So the 9 digraphs that we looked at, if you missed that, there's a link to the whole playlist up here. So as long as a Twi singular noun does not begin with b, p, nor f, that noun could begin with any other letter or any of the 9 digraphs. We will still apply the same pattern to forming its plural. All right, so you bring in front and you have its plural form. So we are going to look at a few other examples that involve some of the digraphs. But before we do, please take note of the following. Number 1, in Twi, if you have the digraph j, so this digraph, and what comes before that is as in n, in most cases the would assimilate the j. So the will cause this j to change into ny, this other digraph. Okay, again, this is assimilation, and this is to allow for easier pronunciation. Right? So for the examples that we are going to be given, you'll find that for those that start with j, so this digraph, after we attach the n in front to form their plurals, the n will go on to assimilate the j into ny. Let's see an example like that. So we have ojain, and ojain is a sheep, a single sheep. And this starts with a vowel, but we don't consider that. The first sound here is j, which is the digraph, right? So we bring n in front, and we are supposed to have injain, but assimilation sets in because we have j. So the n would cause this j to change into ny. So we end up with nyain. Another example like that, we have ejuma, and ejuma is work, all right, the noun. Again, this starts with a vowel, so we skip that and consider the initial sound, which is j, the digraph j. So to form its plural, you simply bring n in front, and we are supposed to have injuma, but assimilation sets in because we have j. So the n would cause this j to change into ny. So we end up with inuma. The second point to note again has to do with assimilation. In Twi, if you have the digraph j, so this digraph, and this produces the same sound as the j in justice, there's a link to the whole playlist, is up here. So if you have this digraph and what comes before that is n, usually the n would assimilate the j. So the n will cause this j to change into ny, the other digraph. Let's start with an example like that. So we have ejinamwa, and ejinamwa is a cat. This is one of the names for a cat. There's also okra, okay, okra. So we have ejinamwa, and this starts with a vowel. So we don't consider that. The initial sound is j, the digraph. So to form its plural, you simply bring n in front, and we are supposed to have njinamwa, okay? But assimilation sets in because we have j. So the n would cause the j to change into ny. So we end up with nyinamwa. Now let's see an example that starts with the digraph ch. So this digraph, and this produces the same sound as ch produces in English. So like church, right? So we have chensing, and chensing is a silver bowl. It can also be the roofing sheet, right? So we have chensing, and again this starts with the digraph ch. So to form its plural, you bring n in front, and you have inchensing, okay, inchensing. Let's see an example that starts with the digraph ch. So this digraph, we have achidie, and that is a ladder, all right, achidie. Again, this starts with a vowel, so we skip that and consider the initial sound, which is ch. So we bring n in front, and we have enchidie. Now, just like it was with our previous category, so the category that we looked at in our previous lesson, there are exceptions within this category. So there are singular Twi nouns that you'll come across that do not begin with n, b, p, nor f. But we don't form their plurals by attaching the letter n in front, like we have learned in this lesson. And again, when it comes to the exceptions, you would have to memorize their plural forms. But again, I'm going to give you another pattern, another rule that applies to most of the exceptions. Now, just like, in the previous category, for Twi nouns, singular Twi nouns that do not begin with n, b, p, nor f, but we don't form their plurals by attaching the letter n in front, we tend to attach the letter a as in a instead. So just like, in the previous category. So instead of attaching in front, for the exceptions, we tend to attach a as in a in front. Let's see some examples. So for the first one, we have auditia, and auditia is a royal, all right? So here you don't consider the initial vowel, you consider the initial consonant, which is d, which is neither b, p, nor f. So if we were to apply the pattern that we have learned for this particular category, we would have attached in front and would have had indicia, and then the would have gone on to assimilate the d into So we would have ended up with nicia as the plural form. But no, the plural of auditia is not nicia. The plural of auditia is adicia. Adicia. So instead of attaching in front, we attach a as in a. Let's see another example. We have home, and home is a spirit, right? Home. And as you can see, this starts with h as in h, which is neither b, p, nor f. So to form its plural, under the pattern that we learned for this category, we would have attached in front and then would have had home, right? Home. But no, the plural of home is a home, okay? So instead of we attach a in front, a home. Let's see another one. We have a chain, and a chain is a vehicle. And as you can see, this starts with a vowel, so we skip that and consider the initial digraph, which is sh, right? So here, since it starts with the digraph sh, we would have attached in front to have in chain as the plural. But no, the plural of a chain is not in chain. The plural of a chain is a chain. So this is one of the exceptions. So you attach a instead of One more example. We have osibo, and osibo is a tiger, right? And as you can see, this starts with a vowel o. So we disregard that and consider the first consonant s, which is neither b, p, nor f. So under the rule that we covered for this particular category, we would have attached in front and then would have had insibo as the plural. But no, the plural of osibo is not insibo. The plural of osibo is asibo. Okay, so this is one of the exceptions. So instead of attaching in front, we attach a. So again, what you can do going forward is to find lots of Twi nouns that do not begin with b, p, nor f, and find out if their plurals follow the general rule that we gave for this particular category, or they follow the exceptions rule that we just covered, or they deviate from the two. So if they follow the general rule that we covered for this particular category, then you don't have a problem. You just bring in front and you have their plurals, okay? But if they follow the exceptions rule or they deviate from the two, then you have some memorizations to do.